I declare bankruptcy!
Wow, you gotta be kidding me. So it seems like the Highguard studio just got laid off, but apparently Wildlight Entertainment, a small studio by Respawn veterans, released from free-to-play fantasy shooter Highguard on January 26 across Steam, PS5, all consoles. It peaked at nearly 100,000 concurrent players, but also dropped sharply to 2 to 4K. Yikes. Earning mixed Steam reviews for optimization and balance issues, just 2 weeks, and through roughly 100% team faced mass layoffs, leaving servers online, but the live service game's future uncertain as developers like Granner seek new jobs.
Mr. Hum, I wanted to thank you. Fired. I beg your pardon? Fired. But I...
Yeah, they're done. They're already. This is Concord 2. This is exactly what people were talking about. I'm not surprised by it either way. Paul Tassi says, Jesus, it really was a Concord 2. I'm being literal, not trying to be insensitive, but this is just wild. What are the expectations for games like these where when you have to kill them and disband a studio within 2 weeks of launch? Yeah, that is the brutal reality of live service games, because you need constant revenue and constant player numbers to stay alive. It's not, you know, especially being free to play, like most people try the game, they didn't even buy anything, they just left. Like, yeah, this is why live service is such a, you know, it's just such a very tough part of the gaming industry to even do right now. Yeah, so the game lasted for sure a little bit longer than Concord. I think it was like around January 17th, so they had 3 weeks of at least developer time and such. So congrats for them, they lasted 3 weeks. Michael from Legacy says, this is a shame. One that isn't just surprising. It may not be exactly Concord 2.0, but certainly seems like an inevitable early shutdown isn't far away. Yeah, there's no way that these people could keep working on the game. They just released a new, I mean, I give them credit for trying. They released a new warden, they made the 5v5 a permanent mode, but it still wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. And they released 2 cinematic trailers back to back, which is crazy. That was kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. They were really trying. I'm not gonna say, like, of course the game was bad, but they were trying. I can't say they weren't not trying. That's something I will give them the benefit of the doubt. But just because they're trying doesn't mean they get you know, their red carpet and, like, you know, oh, play our game now, we're doing stuff now. No, that doesn't work like that. And I know this is how the game was gonna be dead, because they said we don't need player counts to be super huge in order to be successful.
He's an idiot. He's stupid. Sir, are you stupid by chance?
I don't know if you even knew that you're working on a live service game, but you kind of have to need a high player counts to be successful, because then those people get attached to your product and then they want to invest in said product. Even if you do a simple calculation of 2,000 people, let's just say every single person bought at least something that was worth 20 bucks. You only made 40K. That 40K does not pay enough for your team. Your team probably costs way more than 40K, that's for sure. Oh man. There it is, Concord 2. Oh damn. And as well as looking at the Steam number charts right now, it was something. Even with the new award and the new character they released and ranked mode, they're only keeping like around 3K, almost 4K players, but that's still not enough. And then specifically today, they have like no players at all now. I think that's just because people know this game is dead already. So I'm not gonna lie, it's not that I want to point fingers or anything like that, but I think the biggest people who really killed this game was, of course, the developers themselves, of course, and the creators or these sponsor streamers that were saying that, oh yeah, this game was good, and they were pushing this weird thing where, like, they were telling people like, yeah, this game is good, guys, when the whole crowd said no, it's not good. And then they say they enjoy the game, but when that sponsor stream stopped, they stopped playing the game. And I think them not playing the game anymore made people more like, okay, so they really didn't like the game. I don't know, I'm just spewing shit out of my ass here, but... And just how the internet is, they're not surprised. Nobody's surprised. Calling it Concord. Jeff Keighley, this is probably gonna be the most talked about thing in the next Game Awards. Telling Jeff Keighley, don't promote another Concord type game and such. And sadly, the person who made this comments about a lot of people getting laid off was this guy named Alex Garner, and you can see how in his resume that's the last thing he's been working on, and presently to quote unquote saying that he worked on the Highguard raid mode. And damn, that's a very hard thing to put in your resume, because then people see that they're like, oh, you worked on that game. Oh, we'll put it right here. We'll call you and we'll give you a chance for an interview. And it makes their roadmap and game plans, quote unquote, even more embarrassing, just because they barely got to February part 1. They didn't even get close. They didn't even finish episode 2. Honestly, I thought they were at least gonna get to episode 4, at least episode 4 or something like that. But they barely even got to episode 2 part 1. That was it. That's all they got to. I do feel bad for the developers. When you're making a game though, you have to get it right, because if you don't, nobody's gonna give you a second chance. And this is the quote unquote, I guess, consequences of not listening or not looking at other examples of other games that have done this. And now I hope developers see this and know that, like, hey, we can't just put out a mediocre product with generic characters. Like, they cannot do that, because it's not going to sell. And man, I really hope by the end of this does not come true. I don't want 3 games to be Concord, but man, it may look like it, but I hope it does not. I just wanted to update you guys on what was going to happen with Highguard. This was just one of those games where I was just so intrigued, because I don't even know how you make a game that just generic and just it's not bad. I'm telling you, it's not a bad game. It was just very boring. That was the problem with this game. It was just very boring. And that's worse than a bad game, because at least with a bad game you can make fun of it. But this was just incredibly boring. But yeah, that's all I had time for anyway, so catch you guys in the next one.